Hey everyone, it's Rihanna and welcome to another video. It is another monthly wrap up, everything I watched in February of 2021. We've got some movies, we've got some TV shows, we've got some rewatches, we've got some new watches. So let's get on with the list. The first movie, or I guess movies I want to talk about are the Paddington films, Paddington and Paddington 2. I absolutely love these films. These were rewatches. They are so wholesome, and I just needed to talk about how much I love the Paddington films. If you have never heard of Paddington, the books or the TV show or the movies, he is a bear who lives in the deepest parts of Peru. He takes a shipping boat to London and then moves in with the Brown family and sort of has to adapt to life in London. Yes, he is an animated talking bear. I am being very serious. I grew up reading the Paddington books and watching the Paddington TV shows, and I absolutely love the newest adaptation starring Ben Whishaw as the voice of Paddington. It also has Sally Hawkins and Hugh Bonneville. Nicole Kidman plays the villain in the first movie, and then Hugh Grant plays the villain in the second movie, and they are both fantastic. Like, oh my goodness. The Paddington movies are just so wholesome and adventurous and funny, and yes, I just had to mention how much I love these movies. And if you haven't seen them and you are down for some fun and just some wholesome content, definitely check the Paddington movies out. I love them. I would watch them every month. If I'm honest, I might actually rewatch them in March. A TV show that I actually started in January and then finished in February was Peaky Blinders. We started from season 1 all the way up to season 4. Now, I'd seen the first 3 seasons plus 1 episode of season 4 many years ago. I never actually finished the show, so we went back to the beginning and started from the beginning, and god damn, Peaky Blinders is a top tier show. Peaky Blinders is a TV show that tells the story of the Shelby family who live in Birmingham in the United Kingdom. They involve themselves in probably highly illegal activities, horse racing, gambling, women, Russians, all sorts of stuff, and these are actually based off true events that occurred during the 1910s and the 1920s in Birmingham in England. But the TV show follows the Shelby family, and the head of the family is Tommy, played by Cillian Murphy, and oh my goodness, he is absolutely fantastic in this show. I don't know where his Golden Globe nominations have been going these past 6 or 7 years, however long the TV show has been running, because goddamn, he's incredible. Every performance in this TV show is actually incredible, and there is Tom Hardy in the show, there is Adrian Brody who was in season 4, Sam Claflin is in the show, lots and lots of big names are in Peaky Blinders, and I feel like it's very under the radar if you don't live in the UK. It's an incredibly intense show, the production is incredible, the cinematography and the score are top-notch incredible. I am in awe of the cinematography on Peaky Blinders. And I will say the first season does have a little bit of a slow pace to it, but once you start to get into the show and really know and love the characters, you'll just not want to stop. And I have to say my favourite seasons have got to be seasons 3 and 4. They are probably the most intense and probably have some of the best sequences and best scenes. Honestly, perfection. It's now just a horrible waiting game for season 5 to come out, which I believe has only just started filming because of coronavirus, so I might just have to rewatch the whole thing. Next up, let's talk about a new release that came out on Amazon Prime Video in the UK, and that is Greenland, starring Jared Butler. I feel like all Jared Butler can do now is save the president or save the world, because he's in the Angel Has Fallen, Olympus Has Fallen films, and he was in Geostorm, which is about saving the world as well, so he just likes to save things. Besides the point, Greenland tells the story of Jared Butler, who is a father and a husband who is trying to reconnect with his estranged wife and his son, and when he does that, of course, there is this mysterious comet heading to Earth that is actually going to hit the Earth a lot harder than the public have sort of been told. Jared Butler's character gets a pass for him and his family to board planes to go to Greenland to be kept in a safe house from when this comet is going to hit Earth and highly impact it. Now, I have watched many disaster films in the past couple of months. I saw Songbird, which was awful. I have watched The Day After Tomorrow, so I've watched a few disaster films, and they're actually one of my favourite genres. They're kind of cheesy, but I really enjoy them. And I don't really know what I was expecting from Greenland, but there are a lot of things that happen in this movie that I've never seen in a disaster film ever, and completely make sense. There are some really dark, hard-hitting scenes in Greenland, and it's very intense and very surprisingly emotional. I cried at a couple of points during this movie, and disaster movies go, this was actually one of the better ones because it actually had an emotional impact on me. There are many that just do not. Songbird. So I was actually pleasantly surprised by Greenland, and actually there was some pretty good performances. They actually let Gerard Butler keep his Scottish accent, which I was very, very happy about because it is gorgeous. And before I move on, I've just got to give a shout out to the kid who played their child. Oh my goodness. Amazing. Now, I wasn't sure whether to say this was a rewatch or a new watch because I watched it so many years ago. I literally couldn't remember anything that happened, but I watched A Knight's Tale. Did I watch it purely because I have an obsession with Paul Bettany and WandaVision at the moment? Yes, but it is still a great film. I think A Knight's Tale was one of the first films I ever saw Paul Bettany in, and, you know, sort of had that little crush on Paul Bettany. So if you haven't watched A Knight's Tale and you're obsessed with Paul Bettany at the moment, you're welcome. Just watch it. Anyway, I'm going off topic by talking about how much I love Paul Bettany. A Knight's Tale tells the story of a scholar named Will, who is played by the fantastic Heath Ledger, who disguises himself as a jouster and tries to make his way up in the jousting competition to win, and then he ends up falling in love with a maiden and all that great stuff. A Knight's Tale is just incredibly humorous and funny, and the acting is great, the chemistry between the actors is fantastic, and it's just not your average Renaissance medieval film, to be honest. It's not all politics and royals and snobby. They actually use modern music in the film, which I think works really, really well. And I did not remember how emotional this movie was because I was in tears by the end. Tears. It is emotional. So it's just got the whole package. It's got comedy, it's got Heath Ledger, it's got emotion, it's got great chemistry, it's got Paul Bettany. Yeah, but I very much highly recommend it. I also feel like this is one of those under the radar hidden gems that a lot of people haven't seen, so definitely check out A Knight's Tale. A definite new watch for me was Instant Family. I wanted to actually see this when it came out in cinemas in 2019, 2018. It stars Rose Byrne and Mark Wahlberg as this couple who are debating having children, and then they look into fostering, and they actually end up fostering these 3 children, 1 teenager and then 2 smaller children. And it's just sort of about their struggles as foster parents and their relationship with the children and with their own families and their marriage. And it is really, really funny, but gosh, did I cry many, many times. I was not prepared to cry that much. I did not think I'd be crying at a film with Mark Wahlberg. I mean, I definitely cried at Deepwater Horizon, but yeah. I'm not sure if I was expecting really good things from Instant Family because the trailers threw me off a bit. I thought it was more of a comedy rather than a emotional drama, but I was really pleasantly surprised by the mixture of comedy and emotion and just how hard-hitting it was. I really, really enjoyed the performances from Rose Byrne and Mark Wahlberg and the woman who plays the eldest daughter. I don't know the actress's name, I'll put it somewhere. And just all the performances overall were really, really great, and it is a heartfelt, funny watch if you haven't seen it. I also recommend that one. A lot of these I'm going to be recommending to you guys. Famous last words, because I'm about to talk about something that I wouldn't necessarily recommend to you all. This was one of the last things I watched in February. I think I watched it on the last day of February, and that is the new Netflix TV show Behind Her Eyes. Now, a week later, I'm still very conflicted on how I feel about this TV show, but let's talk about the plot and stuff first. Now, Behind Her Eyes tells the story of a single mother named Louise, and she ends up having an affair with her new boss, who has just moved to London with his wife. His wife's name is Adele, and Louise and Adele actually form a friendship, but don't end up telling David, who is the boss and the husband. And Louise gets more than she's bargained for because she ends up getting swept into the lies and secrets of the marriage of David and Adele. And I think I'm just gonna leave it there. It may sound really, really boring, but trust me, it gets deep. But first of all, we'll just talk about the TV show, no spoilers, yada yada yada. Plain and simple, it was very basic. The first 3 episodes were quite bland, very slow, very dry. The acting was questionable at some points, but you keep holding on and keep watching because of the character of Adele. Now, the woman who played Adele, incredible. Incredible. Eve Hewson, I think her name is. Amazing. She's the only thing that kept me watching this TV show at some points. So the first 3 episodes are quite bland, and then things start to get a little bit more interesting as they explore the night terrors that Louise and Adele have both experienced. They have things in common, and Adele has a very troubled past, and you get to see her troubled past and her relationship with another guy named Rob, and just all of this crazy shit goes down in the last 30 minutes. I'll tell you that much. I'm not sure if all 6 episodes are worth the last 30 minutes, but if you watch the trailer and if you're intrigued, I recommend you watch until about episode 4 and then see if you want to keep watching. Let's talk about spoilers though. Oh my goodness. Either go away if you don't want to know spoilers, or just stay here to hear how fucking crazy this TV show is. So obviously Louise and Adele have formed this friendship and not told David. Huge mistake on Louise's part. Huge. Ginormous. Because Adele is manipulating her constantly. Adele gives her this book that she used to get rid of her night terrors, and Louise, without knowing it, learns how to do astral projection. So astral projection is the concept that you can leave your body while you're asleep and travel wherever you want to go, basically. You go through these 2 doors. By the end of the TV show, was anyone else not livid and so confused as to how Louise thought she was going to save Adele from a fire by astral planing herself into the bedroom? How is that going to help, Louise? Yeah, that drew a line for me. I just knew something was up with Adele and Rob from the very first start of their interaction together, but the fact that not only does Adele swap bodies with Louise and then kill Louise so she can take Louise's place, you then find out that Rob has been obsessed with David this whole time, and Rob swapped bodies with Adele before any of this happened, and Rob is now Adele. And then Rob as Adele goes into Louise, and then her and David get married, and poor little Adam doesn't fucking know which way is up. This show, man, I don't know whether to be impressed by the mindfuckery of the last 30 minutes or not, because it kind of just came out of nowhere. They only really start exploring astral projection in episode 5, and they only really introduce Rob in episode 3 or 4, so I don't know, it's like this weird tangled web that just keeps unspinning, but not in a good way. It's so disappointing because I love psychological thrillers with a twist ending, but I really don't know how I feel about this one. It just doesn't seem worth the really bland episodes and bland scenes. I've got very mixed emotions. I don't know how many of you have seen Behind Her Eyes, but if you liked my rant and just the spoilers, and if the show sounds like a complete and utter mindfuck to you, then by all means check it out. I don't know if I recommend it to everyone though. That was one of the more questionable things I watched in February. It's sad to end the video on a kind of bummer note, but alas, that is my list for February. February is a short month. Lots of things went unwatched because February just flew by in my opinion, but there's loads of cool stuff coming up in March. I've already watched some really cool stuff in March, so yes, look out for that video coming soon. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys watched in February. If you've got any recommendations, let me know. I'm always up for new watches for TV shows and movies. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. All my social media links are down below in the description if you want to come follow me. I now have a TikTok that I post random movie and TV stuff on, so if you want to come follow me on there, by all means come join the weirdness. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you very soon. Bye!